Is that all right?
Is that dog giving Scooby the Nala look? I think she might be. The animators knew what they were doing there. Hey guys, Blazie here, and welcome to my review of Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders. It came out right on the turn of the millennia in the year 2000, and it is the last movie in the franchise to use cell animation before moving on to digital. Crazy to think that the last movies were cell-shaded. It is an art form that is missed. So no real drama to start off with, though one of the long-time writers for Scooby-Doo and the last few movies did leave after this due to creative differences, but this movie was apparently smooth sailing, and you can tell. Witch's Ghost felt like two separate movies, but this one has the one tone throughout the movie, and everything works in a weird but wonderful way. This is another fun Scooby-Doo movie, but is it as good as the last? Well, there's no animated moment I can point to and go, whoa, that's so cool, that looks so good. There's not a single piece of good music compared to the previous, having like the Hex Girls. This time we get a Shaggy love song, and it's so cringe. I'll get there though. This movie has a really simple plot and story, but it is fun in its own way with a different quirky vibe to it that feels more light-hearted. Is that a bad thing? Nah, you kinda accept it at this point that nothing will have the same tone as Zombie Island. But again, at least this movie is consistent with it. So let's go over the main story of Alien Invaders. It starts with Sephiroth casting Supernova, following it all the way to the Earth, where a signal is picked up by South, a space radio station thing, introducing us to Max, Laura, and Steve. Steve is voiced by Mark Hamill. Basically, the scene here is to say, something is out there. We then see the gang driving at night through the desert, but suddenly UFO, which does have like a cool design to it, which causes them to crash. So now the van isn't working and they need to go into town. Scooby and Shaggy decide to stay behind in case of rattlesnakes.
Well, rattlesnakes.
But really, it's because Shaggy knows where Velma keeps the stash. Yeah, I'm sure you do. By that, he just reads Scooby snacks. Hilarious. But as they fight over the last snack, suddenly a jackalope. Since it stole their food, they chase it down, leading to them going over a fence and then suddenly aliens. The alien designs, while iconic for Scooby-Doo fans, they do look like Abe Odyssey rejects that are made from broccoli. Not my favourite designs. Just like the other movies, they play the Scooby-Doo theme while they're being chased around by the aliens. It's a fun, quirky enough scene you expect from Scooby-Doo, with them pretending to be aliens, and so on and so forth, all leading them to ending up at a diner the other gang are at. I do love in every movie their reaction to Scooby and Shaggy doing a thing is just, now what?
Now what?
Scooby does his best alien impression. It's very cursed, not going to lie. But of course, they forget what they're scared about when they see food. However, Dottie, voiced by Jennifer Hale, lets them know they know about the aliens, especially Lester. Lester is the town's loony, who claims to have been abducted by aliens.
I told you they're real. Them aliens are here to take over the world.
And during a flashback, we see 3 aliens. I wonder who we know there's 3 of. Yeah, this movie isn't great with being subtle to who the aliens might be. Also, I think at one point he describes being probed.
But then...
Hilarious. And then there's this scene of Lester knocking over a hamburger, but it's okay because Scooby will eat it. Nope, Shaggy gets to it first. Velma's reaction to it is great.
Gotta be quicker on the draw there, Scooby.
So Lester says he has pictures, so they go over to his place, but they are just paintings he painted. We learn of South, the giant satellite dishes, whose goal is to search for alien life forms. And then there's no hotel, so they're stuck there. Shaggy and Scooby's sleeping spot is on the roof, and why they think it's groovy at first is like, aren't you scared of UFOs? They have the memories of a goldfish. I mean, Lester then throws a sheet at Shaggy, and Scooby thinks it's a ghost. Yep, goldfish. And then, just as I said, they are abducted. It goes exactly how you expect it would be for these two. It's goofy as Scooby uses his tail to escape and a bunch of quirky stuff happen. I do like the lighting in the scene and the colours as well. It just looks really nice. It's just a nice looking movie. They eventually pass out and then wake up to a hippie girl and their dog, who they instantly fall for. I do appreciate though giving both Shaggy and Scooby a love interest and not just Shaggy, but the dog doesn't seem interested as she huffs and even whips him with her tail. Their names are Crystal and Amber, both of which are voiced by Candy Milo. You know Shaggy is in love because he introduces himself as Norville.
Like, what's your name?
Norval.
Norval?
But like, everybody calls me Shaggy.
I do like these two characters, they're groovy. And I do like Scooby trying his best to hit on Amber, but she ain't having it. Though Shaggy does see Crystal has a lot of weird stuff, she says it's her photography gear as she's a wildlife photographer, which is why she's out here in the desert. But yeah, so this is the plot. There's aliens, we have a few suspects, and another big part of the plot is Shaggy and Scooby falling in love. Again, this movie is a lot more light-hearted and extremely light on the scares, and has some good comedy. The characters they introduce are great, but I will say the villains are completely forgettable. I never remember their names, nor care at all about them. That's the weakest part of this movie for sure, but the story is perfectly fine enough, but let's talk more about it going into spoiler territory. So I guess there's your warning. There's a moment where Shaggy finds Amber's dog biscuit and asks if he can have one.
Those are Amber's dog biscuits.
Mind if I take one?
Sure, Scooby will love. Oh, it's for you.
Shaggy has no shame of hiding his real self. Gotta commend him for that. The others go to the diner, expecting to find her, but they soon arrive with the girls, with Velma teasing Scooby, which is fun. I really like her. I like her just like in the last few movies. I really like her personality.
And is her golden retriever wonderful too, Scooby?
Well, wonderful.
But they also don't want to eat. Oh yeah, they're in love. And now, the massive cringe. Shaggy sings a love song.
She came out of the blue, and in an instant I knew everything would be groovy.
It's not like the worst, and it is in a way kind of catchy. Like you do kind of get into it, but you can skip this song.
It will be a dream come true. She's even got a doggy for Scooby-Doo. How groovy, just us two.
Like, I do like this moment where we see the gang in their original outfits running around, but then Shaggy leaves to get laid. That's kind of funny. We do see some of Scooby's puppies that need to be banished to Mordor. At the end of the song, they kiss. Well, Shaggy and Scooby kiss each other. Gay. Scooby and Shaggy later dress up all fancy with Shaggy's shirt tucked in and Scooby's little tuft of hair. I kinda love it. They meet Buck, a big scary mechanic dude who's going to be working on their van, and they run into Max, who is suspiciously getting a lot of oil. And so Fred, Daphne and Velma go with him, while Scooby and Shaggy leave with Crystal and Amber to try and find that jackalope. Scooby is being all sweet with Amber and gives her flowers, and it does work. Shaggy does try to do the same, but a spider climbs into his shirt, which, yeah, fair reaction. But then they run into MP government agents telling them to leave, and we do see the inside of Crystal's camera, with it being very suspicious. The men, which one of them is also voiced by Mark Hamill, tell them to take the dogs with them, and still Scooby is like, dogs? Where?
And take your dogs with you.
Dogs? Where?
Okay, so Scooby just 100% doesn't know what a dog is. What is a dog to Scooby-Doo? Now that's a mystery that will never be solved. They leave, but Crystal is actually a government agent, and so is Amber. And that's when we get that Nala look I mentioned earlier.
And Amber is a government-trained canine, Scooby. Is that all right?
I'm sorry, but it is what it is. I know what I see. All while, the others are hanging out with Max, Steve, and Laura, but Velma notices they have mud on their shoes and they have the wrong oil. Yeah, again, really obviously pointing to who the aliens are. As usual, I do go over too much information, so I'm gonna skip some mundane stuff here, because I do want you guys to watch these for yourself, but I also know a lot of people have seen these movies, so I don't think it's so bad to talk about them in this way. But basically gotta say, they all end up in the same cave where they find gold. So the aliens are digging up gold, basically. And they show up and chase everyone around, making them bump into each other at one point, which is funny, while this weird song plays.
If they get you on their ship, they'll experiment on you and turn you into something for their interstellar zoo.
It's not good, but it's fine for the sequence. But it's also very forgettable. Fred, Daphne, and Velma get captured, but Velma knows who they are, and they reveal themselves to be exactly who you think they are. Yeah, again, this is the weakest part of the movie. It is the villains. They also just want gold. It's an extremely simple Scooby-Doo plot, which in a way harms this movie because it feels like they just didn't care, as something else is more important to the story. The MPs trap the others as Scooby and Shaggy try whatever this is to stop them, but then it's revealed Crystal and Amber are the real aliens. I have to admit, the reveal could have been better, but I kind of like Crystal as like a basic grey alien, but then Amber is just whatever the hell this thing is, looking like something out of Mass Effect or something, but I love it. I love that design. Though Scooby and Shaggy didn't see it, but later they bump into the gang about to be murdered, and once again Amber and Crystal change into aliens, which this time they do see happen and run off scared. While the aliens kind of fight off the humans, with them now wanting to capture the aliens. But I do have to say, whatever coolness that Crystal had in her alien form does disappear when she trips over and screams to Shaggy for help. I don't know, it's just how I feel. The coolness kind of left her. But they do realize they are the girls and go in to save them, with Scooby looking very cool in the process. The bad guys are captured, but now comes the sad ending. Crystal and Amber came here because of the signals they were getting and are technically government agents, just not from Earth. Also, Amber can talk. This moment with Fred is hilarious.
We were sent by our world to investigate signals from your planet, transmitted from the South Station.
So you can talk?
Yes, quite well.
Dig that, Scoob! A talking dog!
Real?
Imagine that.
Then there's this moment as well, they mention they look like hippies because TV signals they picked up were from the 70s, and they figured everyone dresses like that, and then looks over at Shaggy, and he says, why mess with the classic look? Fun fact, him and Scooby are the only ones in this movie with their classic look. So with that, they say goodbyes, but pretty much admit they do love each other, but long distance relationships never work out. Tell that to furries. At the end, we see Bark, who isn't such a scary dude. He likes to press flowers. And then Shaggy and Scooby are depressed, but then they see food and completely forget. I don't know how I feel about that, honestly. Like, it's meant to make you feel better as, like, an audience watching them. It's like, oh, they're happy now. Okay, I guess that makes me feel better. But I remember the first time I watched this movie as a child, being kinda annoyed at them. And I still kinda am. But that's just me, and that's this movie. Oh, we do see the jackalope one last time. But yeah, that's the movie. It's light-hearted, light on the scares, but has good comedy and good characters besides the villains. They don't particularly ruin a movie, they just have no personality, and their goal just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Like, it all works, and I do explain it all pretty well. It's just, there's probably a different way they could have gone about things. It just doesn't really feel like they cared a lot about this part of the story, because the story is actually about Crystal and Amber, which I did enjoy, besides the cringy song. Again, it is kinda catchy, but it's just not my thing. I do like the side characters like Dottie and Lester. I enjoy a good chunk of this movie. I'm never bored. There's a lot of positives, so I think I'll give Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders a score of 8 out of 10 foxes. This movie feels a lot less cinematic than the last two, but it's still just a fun time, but I will watch again and again. What about you guys? Have you seen this movie? And if you have, what do you think about it? Let me know in the comments, and please do follow me over on Blue Sky or on Twitter. I also have a PayPal and a Coffee if you would like to donate to help me out. I Really appreciate it. Thank you everyone who does. Please also give this video a hype using like the little star icon around here somewhere. But also give this video a like and subscribe to our channel because I'll love you if you do. Hit that bell icon. VitoFox says, be who you want to be. Alright guys, bye for now.